Good evening, everybody. It's the Flying Pig on Flying Pig United with another cheeky little stream for you lads and lasses. Shout out to all the legends who were in here early doors. Kingslayer, Rajat, JRA, Duke, Johnny M, yes that, PJ, Aaron Spear, Rex Banner. What's going on? Everyone, thank you very much for joining us for tonight's show. We're back on the old grind, guys, doing the old daily couple of shows. We're going to be on here again tomorrow afternoon and every evening here doing the Raw United news, covering all the latest goings on, whether there is lots of goings on or not so much goings on. We'll be covering it nightly and obviously daily as well. So get yourself involved. We'll cover all the day's news in the day and all the night's news in the night. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining. Do us a favour at the start of this stream. Smash that like button on it. Give us a big thumbs up. You know it makes sense. Share it around. If you want to share it around, there's a link at the top of the chat. You can repost us on Twitter. We'll shout everyone out later on. This isn't working at the moment, but this usually would show all the people who live retweeted it, which I'm going to fix, but it's not working right now. But either way, give us a repost and we'll shout you out later on in the show. And also, if you're new to the channel, get involved, of course, throughout the show. You can have your say. You can also subscribe to the channel. It's free to subscribe. Get your thoughts and opinions in throughout, and we'll be dipping in and out the live chat. Hello there, Hassan, Melissa Smith, Mike Hill. Yes, lad, how you doing, you legend? Rajat, Gucci Lover, Duncan Bolifo, you don. So many legends in here. Shout out all the Baker Brigade, yes. So let's get stuck in. Obviously, we did a video earlier on today, which was just discussing Erik Ten Hag's contract negotiations that are taking place. We'll get into that a bit later on. Obviously, we've gone over it quite a lot today. But he is here. He is going to be the manager of Manchester United for the coming season, it seems. And so we are now on the news in regards to the transfers and what potentially could be going on over the coming weeks, months, this summer for Manchester United's transfer window. And there is quite a lot of work that needs to be done at United, obviously, because we have got a whole bunch of gash-tastic melters that need to be sold and moved on. Still certainly a good handful of players that probably shouldn't be here next season, which means that United do need to replace these players and bring in some quality and try and improve our position for the coming season. Of course, that's what we've got to do. That's what every team's going to be trying to do in the summer transfer window, obviously, is getting rid of the players that are surplus or that haven't performed and trying to improve upon each position that you possibly can. Well, if you look at United's team, you look at United's squad, you look at the issues that we've got within our group, I think that it's evident we need a centre-back or two, really, because we've had Rafael Varane go, so probably need a couple of centre-backs coming in, really. In my opinion, you need a right winger, because Anthony Dos Santos is pretty bang-abs. It doesn't look like there's much of a, contention there in that position. I guess you've obviously got Ahmad Diallo as well. You've got Palistri, who, but realistically, there's not too much going on there. We need somebody who's a lot better. Striker position, we need obviously a lot of help in that regard as well. Rasmus Højlund is a good player, but he can't do it all on his own. We need some more firepower up there, don't we? And probably a central midfielder as well. So there, and that's just a minimum. In reality, we could do with another left back. In reality, we could do with another left winger. Because Rashford's Gashford, etc. So there's a lot of there's a lot of work that Manchester United need to do in this summer transfer window. We're going to get into the possibilities of some of the links and the most likely outcomes in this particular video right here. So let's be having you. Nice one, Chris Koo. How you doing? Don Candy, thank you, bro. Simon, Chunky Dave, Alex Core, get in there, my son. Jake, Pete Morris, hello, lad. Disco Dave, thank you so much there for the super chat, my son. Thank you very much. Let's get some C's in there for him. Thank you. He says, time of the year we need the pig most. Roll on August. Thank you so much, dude. Yeah, it is a little bit shite with no United on throughout the summer. At least we've got like a summer of football this summer, and then there's the European Championships on. But actually, the European Championships does actually slow down a lot of the transfer dealings, or at least with our club it does anyway. There's other clubs that are doing business. There are other clubs already signing players and getting deals lined up and actually completing on transfers. but not Manchester United. I don't think that's something we're going to really be looking at doing while the Euros are taking place, personally. The landscape can change, of course, with players playing in these competitions, the Copa America, the European Championships. There can be injuries. Maybe it's the wisest not to act too soon. But then there are also a lot of players who are not playing in the European Championships that we can go for. For instance, Branthwaite. I keep calling him Braithwaite, but because who's called Branthwaite, to be fair? But either way, Branthwaite is obviously available, not playing in the Euros. So this is somebody that is a target for Manchester United. It looks like though that the amount of money we've got to spend this summer probably won't be massive. There's lots of reports I've seen that it will be a small amount of money that we've actually got available to spend, other than being able to generate cash from player sales. If we can generate cash from player sales, that would be a different story, obviously, and we should be able to reinvest some of that money generated from players outgoing into the side. And I think that's really what Ten Hag's going to have to do. We're going to have to generate a lot of our cash from players outgoing and reinvest that into the squad, because it's probably quite unlikely that with Erik Ten Hag staying, that they're going to spend massively this summer on him and invest hundreds of millions, as we've discussed previously, just because his hit rate of transfers is a little bit suspect. Mason Mount, Andre Onana, Anthony Dos Santos, etc. Not the most convincing of signings for the amount of money that we spent on these players, which means that plus also they've got this situation with him where he finished 8th and he's got this question mark hanging over him about how long he's going to last at the club. He might last a while, but because of that, I don't think there's going to be a ridiculous amount of money that is invested just on the face of it in Erik Ten Hag. We'll probably have to generate cash by selling players. But here's a report here that says that Manchester United only have a gross budget of around about 35 million to spend this summer. The club hope it will be boosted by player sales, which is essentially really what I think the situation will be. So they probably won't want to fork out loads on Ten Hag, a manager who may or may not be here come the end of the season. So that's really where we're at. Jensk, thank you so much there, Jensk. Hope I'm saying that right, dude. Getting in here from Norway, lad. Thank you very much for the super chat. He says, can anyone please explain why United are keeping Erik Ten Hag? Crying. I mean, yeah, Jensk, I can easily explain it, to be fair. He's the best of a bad bunch of managers that are currently available right now. He is, better than a lot of the options that we were looking at. You've got managers that we've looked at, reportedly managers like De Zerbi and Tuchel. I mean, Tuchel literally took Bayern Munich from winning every single season for 12 years straight and made them non-winners. Is that somebody you want to see come in and replace Erik Ten Hag? Gareth Southgate got Middlesbrough relegated, lad, and is an absolute negative melty manager with England. Do you want to see him replace Erik Ten Hag? De Zerbi's done well at Brighton. Brighton's not Manchester United. It's an absolute seagull club, lad. In terms of, obviously that's their nickname, but just in terms of the type of animal they are. We're a fucking lion of a football club, lad. Do you know what I mean? We're the Devils, lad. We're not a little melty bird. You know what I mean? And that's a big step up to come and manage a huge club like Manchester United when you are, when you are just used to managing Brighton. Potter is now being looked at by Leicester City. That's about the right vibe, guys. Graham Potter's being looked at now by Leicester City. So that's the main reason I think why Erik Ten Hag is staying, is because there isn't one of the big boy managers available, as we've gone over. I don't think there was. And so therefore it kind of makes sense for the board, at least for the temporary, to keep Erik Ten Hag, maybe wait for the future. What happens in the future after the Euros? There could be managers available, people like Nagelsmann, for instance, who knows? There's obviously candidates that in the future they'd be interested in who maybe are not available right now. Big Carlo, Unai, who knows? There's lots of good managers out there, but none of them available right now. So that's the truth of it. Man United probably would not have stuck with him if there was one of those guys available, but because they're not, we're sticking with him. Anyway, we are sticking with him, so we kind of have to just accept it for the time being. In a few months' time, maybe there will be a change in that emphasis or that way of thinking if he's not performing at the football club again for the next season. But right now, he is going to be the manager. He does need to strengthen the side. We do need to back him in that sense of allowing him to sign players that he wants for his system right now. It's perhaps counterproductive if you're going to then sack him off in a few months, but we can't think like that. You've got to think like he needs help to build the squad for the season, and that's kind of where we're at right now. So, reportedly only 35 million to spend here, but as we've discussed, there could be a potential player sales. I mean, look, obviously Ten Hag staying while Sancho's getting sold. This is for your United faithfuls. Is an early statement from Ineos that they're backing the manager and ending player power. So, yeah, okay. I mean, Jadon Sancho obviously is a player that we need to get rid of. Smash a 1 in the chat if you would sell Jadon Sancho tomorrow, guys. Smash a 2 if you think we should keep him, try and reintroduce him back into the side. But based on his gash performances, based on his controversy, based on his issues that he's caused in the squad and his gashtastic play and his just being a bang average player, I think we should absolutely be looking to sell him. Now, how much money can we generate for him? That's a big question mark, but that's some money that we can put in the transfer kitty. And then you've obviously got Mason Greenwood, who's another player that probably isn't coming back into the fold at United due to, well, you know, the big controversy, the reasons that we discussed previously loads. And because of that, that's 2 big players that you should be able to get rid of, that you should be able to generate big cash with. It also could free up some wages. The issue with the likes of Jadon Sancho is he's on extortionate amounts of money, £300,000 a week, you know, crazy, crazy money. We're never going to get another club in the world to pay that sort of money to him, so we're probably going to have to do some sort of a damage limitation job where we are looking to, you know, pay a certain amount of his wages for X amount of time for the remainder of his contract in order to get him off of the books and to go and play for somebody else. If you're Jadon Sancho, you're not going to give up a few £100,000 a week, are you? You just sit around twiddling your fingers, taking that paycheck, especially when you're a little bit of a melt. You know, so I do expect Man United to be trying to move on Jadon Sancho, Mason Greenwood at an absolute bare minimum this summer. And if you could sell those 2 players, that could generate you the best part of 70, 80, 90 million pounds to be able to then reinvest in other quality players, which is absolutely what we need. By the way, big up all the legends getting in there. How you doing, Luan France? Burber, you Don? How you doing tonight, lad? Great to see you legends joining us. Smash that like button if you're just joining the stream. Help us out. Give us a boost on the algorithm. It's free. Twateth the likes and get yourself in there raw, my friends. Vutinator, yes, lad. How you getting on, sir? Absolute heroes are joining us. Mate, Jensk, thank you so much for gifting out 5 memberships on the channel there, Jensk. 5 new members from Jensk. Thank you very much there, Mr. Jenslag, or Jens K. I hope I'm saying it right, mate. I'm butchering your name there, aren't I? But thank you very much indeed for gifting out 5 members, lad. Iceman, Melissa Smith, Don Candy, Mike Hill, and Hassan Tariq. And now all members of the channel. Welcome in, guys. And thank you once again. Everybody get a big thank you in there for Jensk. Thank you very much there, dude. Appreciate you. 63 likes. Nice one, guys. We're creeping up there. Nice one. Dilvani, hello to you as well. Thank you very much, Jens. I appreciate you, sir. What an absolute hero. Very nice of you. Very nice of you. So, look, obviously United looking to spend money. We've got targets. You know, we've got to try and invest in this side this summer, regardless of who's in charge in the team, really. We have to try and improve upon our position. We've got to get rid of the melts. We've got to move a few players on, and we've got to sign a few quality players. We probably won't see 6 or 7 players sign. We'll probably only see a few. Who are those few? Well, there's a little short list which is already sort of going around, you know, which makes sense in terms of what we need, in terms of the positions. And, you know, here's a little update. You got Michael Olise, you got Jared Branthwaite, Ivan Toney. Other players I've heard discussed are players like Todibo. You know, you've also got other options in various different positions, to be fair, you know. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's another one here that they're discussing. I mean, look, there's a few players here that interest me. I think, you've got to look at improving upon the right wing spot. The issues we've got there are pretty prevalent. Anthony Dos Santos is not really the guy, even though we spent a lot of money on him and he's Ten Hag's golden boy. He's not really the guy based on his performances. Over on the other side, Rashford. Big question marks hanging over him. Is he the guy? I don't know. Based on the last season just gone, I'd say no. And it's not down to his overall stats or anything. It's actually down to just his mentality and his effort levels and stuff. That's the biggest problem I have with Rashford this season just gone. But certainly the wide areas we're going to need some strengthening, or, you know, the right wing position in particular. Yes, we've got Ahmad Diallo, but is it enough? Anthony Dos Santos got us a couple of goal contributions in 29 Premier League games. I don't think he's enough. The man's a glorified fidget spinner, my friends. He reminds me of one of those, those Hoovers. You know, those vacuum cleaners, guys, those automated vacuum cleaners. Those little circular ones, what are they called? Those, again, Room Vs or Rumbas or whatever they're called, I don't know. But, you know, those ones you just set and they go around your house and they clean up and they, you know, because he reminds me of that. He just does a 360 spin and he absolutely sucks. So because of that, I think that he's basically a Roomba of a player, this guy. If we could sell him on, we absolutely bloody well should. If we can replace him with somebody good, great. That's a position strengthened. So right wing's definitely a position to strengthen. Olise's an option. There you go. Up the top of the pitch, Manchester United have to give some extra firepower in the side. Okay, we've got Rasmus Højlund, who had a good season, contributed 16 goals. You've got McTominay, who's basically like our second striker right now. Yeah, that's what I mean. A robot Hoover. That's exactly what I said, Sid Rhodes. That's exactly what I said. A robot Hoover. He's like one of those Roomba things, whatever they are, mate. I don't know what they're called. Anyway, the point is we've got to get the right wing position strengthened. The striker position we could do with an absolute new player coming in there as well. Like perhaps Ivan Toney would be good. Obviously, Dominic Calvert-Lewin's another one that's reportedly discussed here. Personally, don't think that's the best option. But I do like Ivan Toney. I do rate him. Do I think he's the big daddy number 1 to be, or number 9, say, to be our main guy? I actually don't really, but he does give us that, that pace and goal scoring ability up the top there, and he gives us something different, and it's extra firepower, and United should have 2 very good strikers as a bare minimum. Times have changed. You don't need 3 or 4 like back in the day, but you certainly need 2 or 3. And we only really got 1 at the moment. Okay, there's other players that can go into that position and play there. Rashford has played at striker in the past, but Rashford's kind of Gashford and Trashford at striker. So, definitely a striker position needs to be strengthened. Ivan Toney is reportedly one of our primary targets this summer, and rightfully so. That does make a lot of sense. But what a lot of this is going to come down to is the amount of money that United have to invest. Will they spend big cash on Ten Hag this summer? Will they allow him to reinvest money that we generate from outgoing player sales as well? That's a big question. And also it depends on how much these teams actually want for these players. So, for instance, Jared Branthwaite is a target for Man United, it seems, this summer. A player that could come in, help us replace the likes of Varane, Maguire, whatever. But there are reports going around anyway that Everton's asking price is somewhere in the region of about £70 million, which, I'm sorry to say, for Jared Branthwaite is absolutely insane. There's no way United should invest that amount of money heavily in any one player right now, let alone somebody who, is not really one of the top tier players in the league or anywhere near that right now. He could be in the future, and he's had a good season, but right now, I mean, it's ridiculous to fork out anywhere near that money. We don't want another Harry Maguire situation. We spent 80 million on Harry Maguire. It adds excess pressure. It's just unnecessary to spend that amount of money on these guys, if you ask me. It's ridiculous. So if that's what Everton are asking, then we have to move on to a different target. Maybe Jean-Claire Todibo makes a lot more sense for less money, because that's just crazy money. You can't be investing all of your transfer kitty in one player like that. Maguire Mark II, exactly, Ryo. Hey, I've missed a super chat. Thank you very much for the super chat here. Sorry, I've missed it. Let me go back up and have a look at this, lad. But big up everyone who's getting in here raw tonight. Let me just see if I've missed any legends in here as well. Obviously, you're all legends, but Malps, what's going on, lad? Yes, Peppy, Sin Games getting in, lad. Yes, lad. Lou Man, Gucci Lover. Everyone, welcome in, guys. Thanks for joining us. You're a bunch of legends. I have missed a super chat. Let me locate it. It's here. You viewed. Firstly, thanks for the tennis super chat there, you legend. He says, only root of karate come from Miyagi. Just like a bonsai. Choose own way to grow, because root is strong. You can do the same way to do karate. Same reason. Great Miyagi quote. Thank you, you viewed. I absolutely love your Miyagi quotes there, lad. What an absolute hero. Wax off, wax on, you absolute legend. Thank you so much. Yeah, exactly. What would Mr. Miyagi do? That's what you got to ask yourself in this position. He wouldn't go and spend 70 million on Branthwaite, would he? Mate, thank you very much, you viewed, for that, lad. I appreciate you, dude. Yeah. Thank you, Ryo. Thanks very much, lad. So anyway, look, obviously United need to strengthen in a whole bunch of different key positions. Branthwaite for 70 million doesn't really make all that much sense. Todibo, great comment here, Todibo overshadowed and forgotten over in France. Yeah, I mean, look, obviously there's not exactly the right ready-made big daddy candidate to come in and slot in the centre-back position. Like when we signed Raphael Varane, that was on paper a really good signing, obviously. Maybe not due to his injury issues, but on paper that was a really big name signing. Can Man United actually sign a player like that now? A player who's coming from, winning Champions Leagues and playing for one of the best teams in the world. Remember, we finished 8th last season. Remember, we do have Europa League football and we are in a little bit of a struggling period. So I think we are looking around different caliber players now. We're looking for the youngsters. We're looking for the players who potentially haven't proven themselves all that much, but have shown great quality and great glimpses for the future. I think that's really where we're looking at this moment in time. So, but I certainly think Branthwaite, Todibo, these are good places to start, aren't they? I mean, let's ask the chat. Would you take? Berber loved that. Branthwaite runs like a newborn giraffe in treacle. Maguire Mark II. Would you take Branthwaite at the football club for, let's not say 70 million, let's say 50 million? 50 million pounds, but the reports are that potentially they're asking for 70. They're not going to get that, are they? Let's say 50 million pounds. Would you take Branthwaite at the club for 50 million pounds? Yes or no, guys? Let us know your thoughts. It seems like a heck of a lot of money to invest in someone who's, you know, who's pretty well unproven still at the moment. I do think we need to try and sign him, but I don't think we should be getting bent over for that amount of money. I mean, he's a 30 million pound player, 40 million pound player, absolute tops, and that's only because the market's absolutely ridiculous, you know. So I think we would be foolish to invest that huge chunk of change in a player that, well, still hasn't really done all that much in the game. Malp says no, Del says no, yes, nope. You know, that's an interesting shout there, Rajat lad. No, says Jay. Yeah, 50 mil, says Ryo. No, yes. Defender from a relegation survivor, no. 43 million, yup. Yeah, if he's worth 70 million, then what are we worth? I've never seen you play, Berber. Never seen you play. But if he's worth 70 million, I'd pay 20 mil for you, lad. And I've never even seen you play, lad. You know what I mean? Just take a punt on you. I reckon you'd be all right, you know? Pete Morris says yes. Paul says 50 yes. JRE says yes. Yeah, so some people would, but it's a lot of money to pay for a player that isn't top tier and maybe, you know, maybe will be, but maybe won't be. You know, that's a heck of a lot of cash to spend. Craziness. Maybe that's that's a really good shout, to be fair, there from main account. I mean, I don't know about Iceland, right? Should we go and shop around in a supermarket? I don't know, but in regards to like where we could sign players, you do get a lot more value for money going abroad. You do, you know. So maybe we should be looking at players from South America. Maybe we should be looking at players from different leagues like the Eredivisie. Or maybe not. Maybe not actually, based on sort of half of the players coming in not being that great. Disco Day, thank you so much, Disco Day, for the £2 super chat, you legend. He says, strike partner for Rasmus and McTominay as OGS 2.0. Right, yeah, I like it. Well, that's what we need. We certainly do need to get some extra striker in there. We need to sign somebody who's going to complement Rasmus, who's going to also come in and play games that Rasmus can't play. Rasmus Højlund can't play all of the games. We need somebody else to come in and play those games. McTominay's a good option off the bench as a striker, you know, which sounds crazy to say, but that probably is his best option. But actually, what are the other options? You know, shouldn't we have another player come in that position? Yes, we should. Toney's a potential. I mean, Calvert-Lewin's being discussed here. Maybe we could pluck out a youngster from the youth setup. Who knows? But right now, we certainly do need to sign a striker. We need to sign a striker, a couple of centre-backs, a winger, a midfielder, and arguably a left-back as well. So there's 5 or 6 positions need addressing this summer if we're truly going to go for it. We won't do that. We'll probably end up with, you know, 2 or 3. It's wax on, wax off, pig. What did I say? Surely I said that, right? Yeah, paint the fence, lad. Do you know what I mean? Wax on, wax off. I grew up watching the Karate Kid, lad. I know what I said. I believe I said that. Paul S, thanks for another super chat, says bring on more of our youth. Ahmad, for example. Right, yeah. Thank you so much there for getting in here, lad. Yeah, I mean, good shout, lad. Good shout. There is some really good youth talents in the setup, obviously. I'm excited by some of the players that we could potentially bring through. You've seen Ten Hag do it effectively with a couple of different options. Obviously, with Garnacho and Mainu, developed them to a point where they're like legit first teamers this season. Wheatley's a good shout. Yeah, Wheatley's another one. Look, you know, you say this, though, must play, right? So Wheatley ain't ready, you say. But would you have said that Kobbie Mainu was ready a year ago? Would you have said that Garnacho was ready 2 years ago? I mean, you wouldn't have done, would you? But actually, those players did develop into fantastic first-teamers for us. Like, okay, Kobbie Mainu was showing all the abilities and all the potential to be a very good player, but it's one thing actually slotting into the side and actually doing it. So he's proved himself now that he's got quality. He looks like a young Seedorf, the lad. He's unbelievable. So we've got this player, plucked him out of obscurity essentially, developed him obviously, but now he's actually a legit first-team player. That's amazing. We can do that with other players, I'm sure of it. United should always be looking to bring through at least one player like who's going to actually come into the first team properly throughout a season. Ideally two, but at least one. And we have done that sort of over the years, maybe not as much as we used to, nowhere near as much as we used to. But obviously, oh, you were talking about Amas. Sorry, I misread it. I thought you said Ahmad. But in regards to like the rest of the team, we should be bringing through a quality player every single year in terms of the youth players. So hopefully we see that. Hopefully we do see maybe Wheatley giving up opportunities. Some of these other players. I mean, I actually quite liked Forsum, but he's gone now, hasn't he? So it's strange, some of the decisions that we make. I like Palistri. He was loaned out, obviously. What's the plans for Palistri? These guys should absolutely be given opportunities and brought through, I think, given more chances before they're sacked off. Right, let's move on. But, Branthwaite, 70 million, that's preposterous. We've got a bunch of targets. It seems like, Branthwaite, Toney, Olise, potentially players like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Todibo maybe could be one. I mean, we should be looking at improving upon all positions that we possibly can. Thank you very much, Mike Hill, for the super chat. He comments, here's a dilemma for you. Would you spend big on one world-class player, Varane or Casemiro level, or spread the cash on average players? Well, you know what, Mike? Honestly, I don't know if we could even do that right now. I guess Man United is a Goliath club, even without Champions League football and even with an 8th place finish. We are a monster club. But if you're a top player, like one of which you've just discussed, are you going to really be too keen on joining Man United right now unless it's just for a big, huge paycheck? I don't know, and I don't think we should sign players who just want a big paycheck. So I would say it's not necessarily spread the cash on average players. It's what we've got to do is kind of try and get more value for money. We've got to try and shop around and actually recruit well. You don't have to spend a huge amount of money to sign good players. Other clubs do it. We used to do it amazingly well ourselves. Think about the Fergie days. How many players like Schmeichel did we sign for 500k from Bromby? Or, Xavier Hernandez did we get for 6 million from Guadalajara FC in Mexico, or whatever, the list goes on and on. There's so many players we plucked out of obscurity for not that much money that actually did really good jobs for us. That's what United need to try and do. We need to find, like Liverpool signed the Andy Robertson, for a few million. There's players like Julian Alvarez, who City signed for not very much money, Why can't we do that? Moises Caicedo, not to Chelsea, but before he went to Chelsea, obviously. He was plucked out of obscurity for a few £1 million into the Premier League. Stuff like that. This is what Manchester United need to do. We need to find some gems. We need to actually have a decent recruitment network, actually have a decent scouting network, and actually bloody buy some gems. It can be done. We can buy players who are not ridiculously expensive, who can go on to be worth £100 million. We just haven't got a very good track record of doing it in recent seasons, but we should be doing that, and we can do that, I think. So we should be looking to try and get some of those gems, to unearth those gems. Yeah, we want experience. Yeah, we want some players who could come in and slot in, do the job now. But actually, where we are right now is kind of unconvincing as a football club, from the ownership to the manager to the squad to the players to where we finish. It's unconvincing. We're not going to go and sign the Varanes of this world, I don't think, like we did a few years back, because we can't offer them what they want. Think about when Varane and Ronaldo came in. You got your second place finish, you got your Champions League football. These are things that the top players require. We're not in that position right now. But thank you very much for your comment there, Mike Hill, you legend. Personally, I would spread it around on many different players, but I would try and unearth some absolute gems. Rather than going to spunk 50, 60, 70 million on, say, a Branthwaite, I'd rather try and uncover the next quality youngster who is not as well known about and who is nowhere near the amount of money and who isn't going to demand as much in terms of wages, but has the potential to be the next, like Ruben Dias or something. When City signed Ruben Dias, he wasn't an insane amount of money. I can't really remember how much it was now. Was it 30 mil or something? It was a very reasonable amount of money considering the sort of player that they got. Same goes for Julian Alvarez. So we can do that too. You don't have to spend 100 million on a player. And actually, our track record of signing players for huge money is actually not very good, is it? It's not very good, is it? The track record of signing players is really bad when you think about it. Like, for big money, Maguire 80 million, Pogba 80 million, Anthony Dos Santos 85 million. You know, the list goes on. There's so many bang average players we've signed for big money. It usually doesn't work out too well for us, lad. Fair play to you, Olf 793. Erik Ten Hag, given time and support, will be very good for Man United. I respect that. I respect that. Thank you for having your say. Absolute legend. How you doing, Ulster? By the way, we got 160 legends in here. We're 3 likes away from 100 likes. Who's going to be the 100th liker? Do take a second and hit the thumbs up if you're just joining the stream here. Give us a boost up there and help us compete with clickbait wankers and corporation melts. Twat the thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. We're creeping up there. 82,325. That's got a ring to it, guys. So yeah, hit the subscribe, smash the like, and get involved in the live chat if you want. We're a mid-table club, so we will get mid-table players. Thank you, Ten Hag. Yeah, I mean, we finished 8th, which you can't argue. That's mid-table, but we did win the FA Cup. You know, we did qualify for the Europa League, so we've got Europa League football. That is a good European competition. It's not the Champions League, but I think we're obviously, in all areas, we're a much bigger club than a mid-table club. We're one of the biggest clubs in the world even now, when we've completely failed for 10 years, more or less. Obviously, we won a few trophies along the way, but we're not challenging for Premier League titles. We're not a convinced and well-oiled machine of a team, and we haven't been for 10 years. So, but all those things considered, we're actually a huge club. We still can sign very good players, but I just don't think we can sign the top upper echelon type players anymore. Not right now. Yeah, that's true, Nut. He says one of the problems we have is that we don't have the pulling power of Shitty and the Scousers. That's exactly it, isn't it? Yeah, so not only are Man United not in a great position right now, but then you've got all of this competition from these other teams that are in better positions, that are further developed, that do have the draw and the pull, like you say, to be able to convince some of these other players to come in and sign for them. Very well said. Very true. Very true. But what can United do this summer? Well, we can have a clear out and we can try and sign new players. We can try and improve the team as much as we can, and that's exactly what we need to do. I mean, Jadon Sancho is expected to be sold this summer. Remains to be seen whether you can actually convince the guy to go. Are you going to be able to convince another team to spend the money on him and then pay him the wages that we pay him? Probably not. We're going to have to do something in terms of a deal there. We're going to have to maybe look at paying a remainder percentage of his contract until it runs out. And that way, maybe you could get him to go. With what's happened with Erik Ten Hag staying, though, so obviously the reports coming out that Jadon Sancho basically would not be happy to stay at Manchester United if Erik Ten Hag was to stay, but he would essentially be happy to come back if Erik Ten Hag was sacked off. That's basically understanding because of the rift in the relationship that happened between them. Sancho was sacked off to Dortmund mid-season because of all the aggro that was being caused between the player and manager there. So it's very unlikely that Sancho's coming back into the fold. I mean, maybe there's an outside chance. You can never rule it out. Perhaps they patch things up. Perhaps Ten Hag gives him another chance. But I think Ten Hag's probably seen all he's seen on Jadon Sancho and thinks that he's not got the right mentality. I don't think he's got the right mentality. I mean, let's ask the chat, guys. Keep or sell Jadon Sancho? Keep or sell? I'm sure most of you would say sell because he's really been lackluster for the few seasons that we've seen him at the club. And he's also not got the right mentality, I don't think, for United. It's all well and good doing it for Dortmund in a German farmers league, but he's not capable of doing it for Man United in the Premier League where it counts. So, yeah, obviously Sancho is expected to be sold. He can generate cash. Greenwood's expected to be sold. He can generate cash. Greenwood's very unlikely to come back into the side as well just because of the PR shitstorm that it would present. So those are 2 players that we should absolutely be looking to move on this summer and could probably get 80 mil for, which can be reinvested into the team. Just on the Ten Hag stuff as well, like, reports coming out that we are close to agreeing a new deal for Erik Ten Hag in terms of a contract. We've gone over that a lot in the afternoon video today. If you want to hear my extensive thoughts on that, please do watch that video. But just to summarise from earlier on, I think that it seems pretty preposterous to give Ten Hag a new contract as of right now. I suppose if they are going to do that, it's because they want to show him confidence after shopping around and looking at other managers. And, they're giving him a confidence boost to say, hey, you are the guy and we've got faith in you. But realistically speaking, it doesn't really add up to reward the mediocrity of the season just gone by signing him up to a new deal. His contract ends next summer. If he has a great season, if he even has a great start to the season, if we're sitting pretty by January, if we're in qualification spots for the Champions League and we're doing well and we're looking like a good outfit and a good team and he's signed good players, then give him a contract in January even. But right now it seems a little bit insane to me to give him a new deal. But because of that, it does look like it's going to happen. It does look like Jadon Sancho won't be happy about Ten Hag staying, and I expect him to probably go. Jadon, that is, not Ten Hag. So, so there you go. The Sancho situation is not getting any more easy. It depends if we can ship him out. Depends if there's a suitable club that wants to try and roll the dice on Jadon, because it is a bit of a gamble. There's big money involved, and he's absolutely not shown the right mentality to be a Man United player, and he's never performed in the Premier League. So that is the premier competition in all of league football. Like, if he can't do it here, are there going to be queues around the corner to sign Jadon Sancho? Probably not. Probably only a handful of clubs are interested in signing Jadon Sancho. Yes, Dortmund, but they probably can't afford him. Saudi Arabian clubs, maybe, absolutely. Will he be prepared to go? So, it's a big question mark as to whether or not we can even move him on. I'm not so convinced, personally. He could potentially be one of those players that just rots away in the reserves or gets loaned out again. So we'll see if we can even move him on, personally. But here was the update from Fab, anyway, earlier on today, for anybody who missed it, that the talks between Manchester United and Erik Ten Hag's agents are already underway and advanced, with all parties anticipating an agreement on a new contract. Ten Hag happy to sign and continue the project, while Ineos want to give him total trust for the future work in progress. That's what it's about, isn't it? It's giving him the trust. And maybe there will be some sort of stipulation or some sort of clause written in if we are going to give him an extension and an extra signing bonus and extra couple of thousand a week, whatever the case may be, that if we are not in the position we need to be by whatever month of the season, then there is a lower termination fee or something like that. Sometimes these clauses can be written in. Maybe not. Maybe Ten Hag wouldn't sign a deal like that. Who knows? But the reports are that maybe we're trying to sign him up to a 2-year deal. Don't really get that. 2-year deal. If you are going to give him a new contract this summer, probably a 1-year deal, extension I should say, makes the most sense. Because, yeah, he's won some things, but it's not been overly convincing at the club. And surely you want to try and at least get a little bit more proof in the pudding first before you commit to a long-term deal like that with your manager. But I'll ask the chat this question as well, just for fun. How many years contract extension would you give Erik Ten Hag? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let us know. I mean, honestly, right now, I wouldn't give him a contract, so it's a 0 from me. Not because not because he couldn't do it for us. He might be able to turn it around, right? He actually genuinely might be able to turn it around. But it's like we've got into this position where we were 8th place. We did have a kind of bad season. We were not a great team, and I'd like him to prove himself first before we give him a new contract. I'm not ruling that out in the future, in a year's time or 6 months' time. If he's got this United side going forward again and progressing, I'm not against it. But right now, I think it's just a little bit crazy to actually sign him up to a long-term deal for no reason. I mean, maybe 1 year, just to show some faith, to show some trust, to say, hey, please do your job because you're here not just for half a season, not just for 1 season. You are here for at least a couple of seasons, so please do your job to the best of your abilities. But surely he should be doing that anyway. But I just think it's a little bit preemptive to sign him up to a 3-year deal or even a 2-year deal personally. So, that's my take on it. But obviously everybody's different. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Berber says give him 3. Fair play. Well, it would certainly dispel any doubters, wouldn't it? It would certainly show faith. It would certainly give Ten Hag confidence to give him a few-year contract extension. 2 and 2, yeah, good for a mid-table team. All right, steady on now, J-Lad. Ryo says 0, Nut says 1, 2 is right. 0 says Johnny, 1 and 1. 0 says Cake. So his contract expires in the summer of 2025, so next summer, Dabo, which means that we're already in the luxury position that his contract's running down. If he doesn't perform for this coming season, then we can just sack him off, can't we, without too much expense and too much furore. Like that's the point I'm making. It's not like he finished 4th, we won the cup, we've got Champions League football, we've had an okay season. It's not like we won the league. We did finish 8th with a -1 goal difference. That's the point I'm making. I'm just saying, like, what if this happens, guys? What if we give Ten Hag a new 2-3 year contract and then we continue in the same vein as last year? What if that happens? What if we see Man United in 8th place at Christmas time? Then what? Then we've signed him up to another 2-3 year deal and he hasn't even really done anything to earn that, and it could be just costing us X amount of money extra to be able to get somebody else in at some point. It doesn't really add up. We should probably try and at least let him prove himself first. I would almost say to him, hey, look, Erik, let's have a negotiation for your contract in January, mate. You earn your job between now and then, prove that you're the right man for the job, and we will give you a new contract in Jan. If you've got us in the top 4 positions, if you've got us playing decent football, if you've got us looking like an actual Manchester United team again, then we'll show faith in you. But it seems a little bit insane to just rush in and give him a new extension right now. Zane reckons 5 years. Collins says 4. Duncan's going 1. Rashad's going 1. 1 or players will kick off. Olise says 3 at least. 1. Well, Malps, I mean, this is one other aspect of Ten Hag's management that has annoyed me over the last season. It's just really the stuff that he said, like post-games. How many times have we seen Erik Ten Hag just sort of brush stuff under the carpet, sort of talk blindly and not really say it how it is, and even say things like, we did lots of positive things, we played good, we should have got something out of the game, in games where we've absolutely been gash. I can't really get it personally. 0 hours contract. Fair play. Berber says, can't be asked starting a new rebuild with Trashford and Maguire. Let's soldier on with this one. That's fair. I mean, I certainly don't think that, regardless of the manager, I certainly don't think that a lot of these players should still be here. Let's hope that Ten Hag has a big clear out this summer, 3 more years, says Luan. Fair play. 1, 2. I mean, let's just hope that Ten Hag does have a real big clear out this season, gets a few players gone that we've needed to get gone for a long time, and gets a few good signings in, and we see Man United actually turn the corner and look a heck of a lot better for the coming season. But honestly, my gut feeling is, it's just that we probably won't do anything miraculous this season, because I watched us play the last year, and unless we do have a big personnel change, I just can't really see it. And even if we do have a big personnel change, there's just fundamental coaching issues that I've got with Erik Ten Hag. Like the way we play, the way we've organised, the way we defend, the way we set up, the pace of our play, the transition. We're supposed to be a team great in transition. That's all he ever talks about. But we don't see it, though. And okay, yeah, maybe it would help if you had the best players in the world to come in. But we don't. We finished 8th. We're not going to sign the best players in the world either. So you've got to coach the team you've got to a better standard than what we've got. We finished in the top 4 the season before. So there's no excuses really, at least to get that. We're not ready to challenge for the title, but we should be ready to at least get in the top 4. So if he's doing that, then fair play, get him a new contract. If he's got this team playing well like he did in his first season, if he's got us going in the right direction like he did in his first season and finishing the top 4 like we did in his first season, sign him up. But right now, we're signing him up based on, a very mediocre time of it. Yeah, I don't really buy that argument, Luan. Other teams have injuries. If you actually look at the injury table, so in some instances, Man United were very bad, injury-wise. In terms of individual cases of injury, we were the worst in the league throughout the season. So we were number 1 in terms of individual injury issues, right? Different spells of injury. We were number 1. However, we were only 6th in terms of days missed for players injured. There was 5 teams in the Premier League who had players who missed more days in total, players' days in total, than Man United. There were other teams that had more missing players, if you know what I mean, for a longer period of time. Not different spells of injury, but longer accumulated days, if you know what I mean. Right? Man United should be in the position where we are covering for a lot of these situations by planning better in the summer, by signing the right players that we needed, by having players in reserve in the youth to come in and do the job. We saw it back in the day with Fergie. He would pluck a player out of obscurity. They'd come in and they'd do a job for a game or two. Look, it's not ideal, I know, having all of these injuries. This is why I'm very happy that Ten Hag, in a way, is staying, because, as I said, we will find out whether it's down to injuries. We'll find out whether it's down to the players, or if it is just, in fact, Ten Hag that's a bit of a melter this season. We'll find this out now. We won't have to wonder about what could have happened because Ten Hag's staying. So he will get this season to prove that that is the case. If we don't have the injury issues, if the players that have let us down go and we sign new players and they come in and perform better, if that all happens, then we'll say fair play. It wasn't Erik Ten Hag's fault last season. It was the gash players. It was the gash injuries, all of these things. But still, it's just something you have to contend with. As a manager, you're always going to have injuries. Maybe not to the extent we had last season. That was pretty ridiculous. But even so, I'd like to see the players on the pitch coach to a much better standard, playing to a much better standard than what we were for the last season gone, personally. Mate, thank you very much, though, Luan, for getting in there raw with your thoughts. Great comment. Hey, thank you so much there, Paul S, for the $9.99 super chat, you legend. He says, I don't cheer for any individual player. I cheer for their laundry. with the badge on it. Go Reds, support the manager and watch him evolve. There will be an escape hatch in his contract. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, actually, boss. As I mentioned earlier, I think there might be some sort of a clause, some sort of termination clause that says, hey, look, if we sign you up to a new 2-3 year deal, look, if you've not got us in the top 6 by Christmas or the top 4 by whatever time, then okay, we can exercise this early termination clause for X amount of money. I think you're spot on there, Paul, yeah, because we would be insane. This is more just a show of confidence than anything else. We would be insane to sign him up to a 3-4 year deal with no out clause or anything like that, you know, regardless of performances, because it would just end up costing not only Man United money to sign him up to a new deal, because there's agent fees, signing on fees, all these sorts of things, but it would also cost us a huge amount in a termination fee if the bad was to happen, which is for Erik Ten Hag to melt this coming season and us have to sack him off to go and sign somebody else. If that happened, then we would be essentially having to pay the remainder of the contract, which would be millions and millions. Just doesn't add up, does it? So I'm with you there, Paul. I think if we are giving Ten Hag a new contract, it's probably going to be one with an out clause if he's not reached a certain level of performance. I think that's fair. Nice one, Reece. You reckon Ten Hag's going to take us right back to the top? We don't actually have the squad for it, though. I mean, we really don't, Reece. So he can only do so much, even if he does really well. Like, he can only do so much. We don't actually have the squad for it, I don't think. Not right now. Okay, in terms of building over the next few transfer windows, if he's still here, yeah, fine. But actually, like, looking at the current situation, we're not going to really get above the likes of Arsenal, Man City, even Liverpool. You know, right now it's quite unrealistic. I think the best we could probably hope for would be a top 4 finish this season coming up, unless we do spend ridiculously in the summer and manage to sign the top players, or spend really well and get lucky with some gems. Quite unlikely that we're going to really go and challenge for the top spots. It's not really what I want, though. I mean, obviously I want that, but it's not what I expect. What I just hope for Man United to do is to be going in that direction, is to see us playing a good attacking style again, not conceding the second most chances in the league, not having a -1 goal difference, etc. I just want to see us get back more to the ways of being a proper Man United side. We should be ripping teams open, attacking teams, and going blow for blow with top teams, you know. You can't obviously always play an open attacking way of playing, but I want to see us doing that by and large. So yeah, that's it really. Let's start playing like Man United again. If we do that, then I'll get behind it. I'll get behind what Ten Hag's doing if we do that. But I can't get behind the dross defensive issues. So many defensive issues in the side. I can't really get behind the way we organise and set up. It just doesn't really fundamentally make sense. There's basic fundamentals that United did really poorly over the last year, which I can't get behind, lad. Aaron, thank you so much. He says we've got 4 reposts. Right, guys, so at the top of the chat there is a link to the Twitter post. You can give us a cheeky little repost if you want. Please do. It helps the stream out as well to spread it around. It's pinned to the top of the live chat there. If you're on Twitter, give us a follow at Flying Pig United. You can repost it. I'll give you a shout out in a little bit. Everyone who reposts it, I'll shout you all out shortly. Please give us a share around. Every little helps. If we get a handful of people share it on Twitter, we might get a handful of people who pop in here and find the stream. So give it a little share if you can. Also, twat the thumbs up. That's one of the best ways to support the show. And yeah, thanks for that, dudes. Good evening there, Fan Reactions Football Club. What's going on, lad? Hope you're doing well. Welcome in aboard the stream there. Thank you for sharing my stream earlier on as well, mate. Really do appreciate that. Get in there, you don. Yeah, okay, let's talk about Greenwood to Juventus then, fire up very quickly. So, you know, in terms of Greenwood to Juventus, that's obviously one of the top stories right now. They're reportedly interested in him. Somewhere in the region of about £50 million is apparently what Man United would want for him. That sounds a lot, but actually it's not a lot. Greenwood's not on insane money like Sancho. Plus Greenwood has youth on his side. He's super young. And he's also a quality player. Like, you just take away all the other stuff. I don't want to talk about that anymore, guys. It's so annoying talking about it. But in regards to like the quality of the player, yeah, he's definitely a £50 million player all day long. More than that, really. He's more than that, really. If you go back a couple of years before this travesty happened, we'd be talking about him as a £120 million player, literally, because he had that potential to go on and do amazing things. Maybe the potential's not quite there in the same way. He has obviously taken a big knock in terms of, well, just his life, is the whole 18 months off of football situation, going to play for Getafe. You know, it's obviously not the perfect way to develop as a young player, definitely not. So I think the potential is not quite as high as it was, but he's certainly still an unbelievable talent. We should absolutely be looking to get £50 million for him, but I'd take 40. You know, I'd definitely take 40 million for him. How much would you take for Mason Greenwood? I'd definitely take 40 million for the lad, and just reinvest that into the side in a good player. Because, you know, he's not really the guy that we can look to the future with because of all the issues that are off the pitch, unfortunately. Yep, you don't think we'll get 50 million? I mean, probably not. That's apparently what the club's looking for. I don't think we'd get 50 million for him either, because there is a stigma attached to him, which devalues him in a lot of ways, you know. He represents great value for money. His wages are not extortionate. He's a hugely great talent who's super young, and he has bags of potential. But because of the other aforementioned reasons, he has, you know, he does have a little bit of an issue in terms of the value. You can't ask for top dollar for him, just simply because of those other issues that there are. Yeah, if we get 50 million for Greenwood, holy crap. I mean, I don't really think we'll get 50 million for him, but I certainly think we should get 40 million for him. 50 million's kind of the place we start in the negotiations. They might hit us up with 30 to take him off of our hands to save us from this PR shit show, and we'll hopefully agree somewhere in the region of 40 million. But if we can get 50 million, that would be brilliant. Yeah, Berber, I agree with you, lad. He says anything we can get for him is a plus. Not worth the hassle. Yeah, that's it. It's just not worth the hassle. It's not worth the hassle. It's better that it's somebody else's problem. And also, it wouldn't be as big as a problem in a different league, like in Italy or wherever. Like, look at what happened when he went to Spain. He's gone to sign for Getafe. They're lining the streets, absolutely mangasming over the prospect of having Mason Greenwood play for them. They didn't really care, did they, about any stuff that's gone on before. Whereas Man United, the traditional sort of family club that it is, being in England as well, England, the media are very relentless. The fan bases in England, the rival fan base is very relentless. It would just be a shit show having Mason Greenwood here. You know, just think about the chance on the terraces alone. It's not really worth all of the hassle that comes along with it. Whereas for him, it makes a lot of sense to go abroad, especially if he can sign for a top club like Juventus. And it makes sense for these other clubs to try and get a really good value player who does have this stigma attached to him. But because of that, he's available for cheap. He's available for cheap and he's desperate to play. So, you know, it sort of fits everybody well, really. Greenwood can move on. He can put it all behind him. He can go and play for a good side in a good league. He can get paid very well for doing so. Man United can get a good bit of cash, which we can reinvest. We could just close the chapter on the Mason Greenwood debacle now. And it just sort of suits everybody, really. They get themselves a good value player. Absolutely. Sorry, Disco Dave. I think I must have done, lad. Sorry, I missed your super chat. I don't know. Did I? Yes, I did. Sorry, Disco Dave. Thank you so much for the super chat, you legend. Let's get some big love in there for the Davinator. He says it's all Erik Ten Hag talk, but Ineos are on trial for me too. Love that. That's a great shout. I love the. There was somebody who came in the chat earlier on who was called Altios. You know, I love that, to be fair. Altios, what a great name instead of Ineos. But anyway, yeah. So. Yeah, that remains to be seen. Are we just going to see Glazer 2.0 shills? Are these just Glazer shithouse yes men? You know, what is the situation with them? Are we going to see, you know, real strides made in terms of changing the hierarchy at Manchester United? There's talks about, you know, Dan Ashworth being lined up to come in and do a job for Manchester United and us compensating Newcastle, all the rest of it. Are we going to see that? Are we going to see a change in the direction of which we're going? Are we going to see better scouting networks, better recruitment, investment in stadiums, investment in facilities? Are we actually going to see all that? Are we going to see better football decisions made? Time will tell. But you're absolutely right. They are under the spotlight as well, because this is their first start proper season where they're going to be in charge of the football operations at the football club. Are they truly in charge of the football operations? Do they have the freedoms to make the key big decisions and spend big in whatever area they best see fit? Or does it still come down to the Glazer shithouses? All I know is hashtag Glazers out. I mean, I hope this is the start of, you know, the end of the Glazers. Obviously, they've bought a percentage of the football club. The Glazers had, what was it, 69% of the football club before. How much did Ineos buy again? Was it 25% or 24%? Or I can't quite remember the exact percentage now. It's gone from my head. But they bought a significant amount of the club. But obviously, they're still minority shareholders in terms of the overall picture of the pie. The Glazers still have the majority, which means that, you know, they've still ultimately got the final say. They've got the control. They can milk the club financially. Like, really, what we need to see is this takeover eventually in a sort of, in a sort of systematic way where it's step by step, there's more of the club being sold to Ineos. That's, I guess, what you want to see, because then it gives them more freedoms and hopefully the ability to take this club back to where we need to be, yeah. So, oh, Toney snooker fan, I'm so sorry to hear that, my man. Guys, let's get some mad love in the live chat there for one of our legends of the channel, Toney snooker fan, whose mum's been very ill lately. Fucking hell, Toney, man. I'm so sorry for your loss, lad. I'm so sorry to hear that, dude. That is awful, man. That's absolutely awful, mate. I'm so sorry to hear that. I know what you're going through, lad. Just try and stay strong for your family, yourself, obviously. And listen, you'll be in an absolute whirlwind right now, man. A complete whirlwind, and you will be for a long time. Just much love to you, man. That's all I can really say. I hope you're surrounded by loved ones, etc. And just love you, Toney snooker fan, man. Absolutely sending love your way. Let's all rain down love hearts in the live chat for Toney, everybody. So sorry to hear that, my friend. That is awful news, lad. Oh, my God. So sorry to hear that. Yep, Sovereign Saints has been through that too, mate. Take your time. It is hard. It is very hard, that, mate. It's very hard. One of the hardest things, well, definitely the hardest thing that I've ever experienced in my life. So I can only feel empathy with you, lad, and just hope that you're okay, and that your family's going to be okay and everything, lad. Stay strong, lad, and just much love to you from the Bacon Brigade here, lad. We've got you anytime you want to get involved and take your mind off of things, or, talk about football, whatever, please do. But condolences to you, Toney. So sorry to hear that, my man. So sorry to hear that, dude. One of the legends of the channel, Toney snooker fan. That is awful, mate. Puts things into perspective, doesn't it, that, guys? Yeah, definitely. Obviously, we're talking here sometimes very passionately about the shithouse situation at this football club. But realistically speaking, it is just football, And Man United, Ten Hag. I mean, Ten Hag's a nice guy. Ten Hag is a nice guy. I like him. Like, him staying as manager is certainly not the worst thing that could have happened, particularly when you've got a lot of melts who are in line. So this sort of thing, it just puts it into perspective, doesn't it, man? Bloody hell, though. So sorry to hear that, Toney, lad. Much love to you. Sending love your way, my friend. Crikey. I'm just going to do a quick recap of what we've discussed, guys, and we are doing a cheeky little FIFA stream over on the gaming channel. Come and join us for that, guys, at Flying Pig Gaming. Before I do that, actually, let me just shout out everyone who's given us a repost on Twitter. Thank you for doing that. Every little helps in regards to the reposts. We're a community here, guys, definitely. I think that's what separates us apart from some of other channels. Obviously, there's some big channels that probably can't have that same sense of community. We're a tight-knit community around here. And we're there for each other. I like to think so anyway. So that's what separates us. The Bacon Brigade will stand with you, lad. And, just try and stay strong, my friend. Big up to all the reposted here. We've had 5 reposted. Thank you very much to Aaron Homeyard, you don. Furkan Aaron, you don. Sin Games, John Boy Cat, and Larry Hasser. Thank you. I'm going to give you a follow back there, Larry. I wasn't following you for some reason. I'm following you now. Thank you, Larry, very much. I'm following the other guys as well. And Luan France as well. Thank you very much for reposting us on Twitter there. Really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for helping us spread the word of the show there. We've got 137 likes on the stream. Thank you for hitting the likes, guys. Get yourselves in there raw for the last couple of minutes of this show and have your say. Very quickly, rundown. Apparently, we've only got 35 million gross budget to spend. We'll have to generate other money from player sales. Potentially, Sancho and Greenwood could contribute about £80 million, though, to that. We've got 5 targets or so, being bandied around on social media. The likes of Branthwaite, Olise, Ivan Toney, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Todibo, and the list goes on, to be fair. We'll see who we can actually sign. But there are reports that Everton are asking around about £70 million for Branthwaite, which immediately rules him out. We should be looking to sign him for about half that, which is insane. Reports are that there could be a 2-year contract extension for Erik Ten Hag. Fabrizio Romano says that there are talks underway with Erik Ten Hag's agents, and the situation is advanced, with all parties anticipating an agreement on the new contract. Ten Hag happy to sign and continue the project, while Ineos want to give him total trust for the future. Work in progress. So, that's the situation, guys. I'm just going to read a couple more comments out, then we're going to have to wrap it up because I've got a FIFA stream set up, guys. Have your say in the last couple of moments of this. Absolutely. Look at all the love hearts from this epic community. Yeah, big time, lad. Absolutely. Thank you. No worries, Toney, man. No worries, Toney. We know what you're going through here, Toney, lad. What's that? For a laugh, Piggy, would you have Steve McLaren or Southgate? I mean, definitely not. Definitely not. The Wally with the brolly or the Pizza Hut paper bag head. That sounds like an awful cartoon of The Odd Couple, doesn't it? Definitely not. Definitely not. Yeah. Well, there you go, Tim Barrett. Yeah, so at the moment it does look like Chelsea are leading the chase for Olise. I do think that is a player United should be looking at if the price is right. But 80 million, 80 million for Greenwood and Sancho, yeah. No, I think that's realistic, Tim. I do think that's quite realistic. I mean, 40 million for both of them, Like maybe because of Sancho's wages, you would struggle to get that because, he is on huge wages. But if you were going to pay a remainder of his contract, a percentage of it, then you could get 40 million for him. Absolutely. He is still like a young player who's got, he's homegrown. He's obviously got still huge bags of potential. He can tear it up in the Bundesliga, so he's got value. And Greenwood definitely has value as well. You're talking about one of the best youngsters in the world. Certainly 18 months, a year ago anyway. So, those two, I think we could realistically expect to get 70, 80 million for them, Aaron, thank you for putting the link to the FIFA stream in there. Absolute legend. Get in there, you don. I will pin that to the top of the chat, guys. So we are going to go over here in a few minutes' time and do a FIFA stream. Come and join us for the FIFA stream, you legends. That would be awesome if you can. Make sure you subscribe to Flying Pig Gaming channel. It's a different channel. It's not this channel. We do gaming streams, FIFA streams, and other gaming streams over on Flying Pig Gaming. Come and give us a follow. Yeah, fair play to you, Dominus. I like Branthwaite too. I do like Branthwaite too, but not for 70 mil. We've got to sort of shop around in a different sort of standard of finances, I think, right now. We can't spend all of our money on him or even that amount of money on him, even if we got more money to spend. Because, it's just another Maguire, Pogba, Dos Santos situation. We don't need it, lad. It's too much money. It's too much pressure. It's just too much to invest on any one player right now. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if Chelsea sign Olise, it does mean that, once again, United have moved too slow. Absolutely. Madrid should loan us Endrick. That's a nice one, Don Candy. Yeah, that guy looks pretty incredible, doesn't he? Obviously super young, scoring goals internationally, etc. Pretty raw, lad. Yep, there it is right there, guys. So we're going to go over and do a FIFA stream now. Come and join us, everyone. Please do hit that link. That will take you to the FIFA stream. Go and smash a like on that stream as well. And we'll be over there discussing it. But giving Ten Hag a new contract is bad. He's not earned a new deal. He should be here for the next 12 months, then review again. I agree with you, Ryan. I think it makes the most sense to review it again in a year's time. But you know what's happened, Ryan? What seemingly has happened is that they've obviously been looking at other options over the last couple of weeks. Nobody really wants the job who's a top-tier manager. They haven't got the right candidate to come in and replace Ten Hag right now, so they're sticking with Ten Hag. And because they've done this, because he's only got a year left, they want to show him some sort of vote of confidence by extending the deal. That's what it is. There probably will be some sort of a break clause in there or some sort of a, termination fee that's already been written in if and when we don't have the performance level required for us. If that happens, if we're 7th place in January, maybe there's a trigger we can access, which just means that he can go, So it's more of a symbolic thing, I think, personally. Let's go, Irving Dunk. How you doing, lad? Yes, get in there. And also the darts channel. Yep, we've got a darts channel, Flying Pig Darts. Make sure you give that a follow as well. Thank you, Aaron. I've pinned the right one now. Thanks very much for that. Yeah, so we've got a link to the FIFA stream at the top of the live chat there. Go over there and I'll see you in a little bit, guys. We're going to have to wrap this up now. Oh, nice one, Thug. Have a nice trip wherever you're going, lad. Nice one. Yeah, we're going to wrap this up, guys, but come and join us on the gaming channel, Flying Pig Gaming, literally in a few minutes' time. Aaron's put the link in there. It's at the top of the live chat there, so click that link and you will go over to the gaming channel. Subscribe to Flying Pig Gaming, subscribe to this channel, Flying Pig United. If you're not subscribed, make sure you get yourself involved and subscribe to this channel. We're going to be on here daily and nightly, giving you the latest Man United news and updates. So that's the plan for the next sort of couple of months. And obviously we're doing a lot of European Championship watch-alongs and stuff. So get yourself locked in on the channel and come and join us, guys. Yes, indeed. Right, guys, we're going to finish this stream. Once again, get some love hearts in there for Toney Snooker fans. So sorry to hear about your loss, my friend. I know what you're going through, and stay strong, my man. And everybody else who's in here, thanks very much for watching the stream. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, click the bell icon, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, and Kick at Flying Pig United. Check out the website, flyingpigunited.com. And then go over to this link and check out the gaming channel stream, which is coming in a few minutes. Have a good night, guys. You can also come back after this video is finished and get your thoughts and opinions in about any of the stuff we've discussed. Sancho, Branthwaite, Toney, Todibo, Ten Hag. Greenwood, Sancho, etc. Come back and have your say afterwards in the not live comment section. But you have yourselves a great evening, guys. Thank you for all the love hearts at the end there for Toney. And we'll see you in a little bit over on Flying Pig Gaming. And remember, when the seagulls follow the trawler, this is because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much.